In today's era of digitalization and automation, IT security plays an increasingly important role. So, this week on the India to Germany podcast, we speak with Prashanth Pavuluri, Cloud Security Analyst at BASF, about his experience and advice on working in IT security in Germany. Hello, folks. Welcome to India to Germany. I am your host Paras Mehta, and today I'll be speaking with Prashanth Pavuluri about career in IT security in Germany. Prashant is currently working as Cloud Security Analyst at BASF in Mannheim in Germany, and he is very experienced in the areas of cybersecurity and IT in general. Welcome, Prashant. Thank you for speaking with us.
Hello, Paras. Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity. I feel it's really a nice idea to have so many points covered in your blog, especially many unknown things as a foreigner living in Germany. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm very happy that you like the blog.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, like many points have been covered as far as I've seen in your blog. So it's like so much enlightening to me.
That's great to know. That's very nice to hear, actually. Very nice feedback. Thanks. So, let me ask you a little bit about cybersecurity. When I think about cybersecurity in general, the first thing that comes to my mind is hackers and spies. Yeah, so what is it that you do as a cloud security analyst at BASF?
So what you heard is absolutely true. I mean, cybersecurity compromise of hackers and spies. Without them, our job is very easy and boring. So, I mean,
Okay.
like, cybersecurity is a broader topic which covers many different aspects. I mean, like, when I talk about cybersecurity, I am only talking about the devices which are able to communicate with each other and also interpreting in a digital way. So, I mean, like, there are many different areas in cybersecurity, but I have been exposed to mostly the technical and the very important and critical part in cybersecurity. Um, and in from my previous job experience, I have been very technically involved in network detection and forensics, which usually monitors the networks in the network infrastructure and find if any anomalies are present. I have been also into the incident response. For example, if someone hacks into the computer, like how to retain the system from the hacker, like how to solve the problem at the spot. And there are also many different broader topics which I have been exposed to, like internet leakage monitoring, internet exposure monitoring, identity leakage, technical threat intelligence, contextual threat intelligence, and many more. I mean, like I feel like I have been only exposed to the few parts of cybersecurity. And coming to the current, I'm currently working as a cloud security analyst at BASF, where I monitor and like analyze the cloud data, the virtual environmental data of BASF infrastructure, and tries to find like if something bad happens within the networks or the applications which are in cloud environment like Azure, Amazon, Salesforce, etc.
Okay, that sounds very important. So when you say something might go wrong with this infrastructure, what kind of problems can you imagine that you might have to tackle or you do tackle in your work at the moment?
So at the moment, if I mean, for example, if I see some data, like huge amounts of data is being transferred to an external USB disk, then this might be the problem for the company in the case like so much of data is being leaked without the authorization. If it is being authorized, then we won't get notified about that. If it is being unauthorized, then we will get the alarms and alerts which get triggered to the next level, and therefore we just usually immediately inform the incident response, which will go to the site and identify like what exactly going on, and like immediately they will remove this device from the network so that most of the data is being secured and it's not being leaked to a high extent which will damage the company reputation or like financial damage or whatever it is.
All right. So it's your job to make sure that all this is working, to first of all, to detect that something like this has happened, and then also to try to fix this and communicate this to the incident response team or the incident response system.
Yes, yes. I mean, first, when we identify this problem, we will immediately like remove this device from the networks, and we will immediately in parallel we will inform the incident response to find out what exactly is going behind that scenario.
All right, that sounds very critical. That's very interesting. So you're originally from India. I wonder what brought you to Germany and to IT security and to your current position at BASF.
So I am originally from a village near a town called Khammam from combined state of Andhra Pradesh. Now it is in Telangana. So I completed my bachelor's in aerospace engineering because I was very much fascinated about flights and helicopters during my childhood. And I decided to pursue my bachelor's in aerospace, and I successfully completed my bachelor's. And during my third year of my bachelor's, I was been to the technical events and technical fest with different universities within Telangana. So I have been accidentally been invited to IIT Hyderabad, where I learned the word called ethical hacking. And
Okay.
when I saw like the presentation and the way they presented, I was like very much fascinated and decided to pursue somewhere in my career I should go to IT security or ethical hacking. Later, I decided for my master's to Germany, where I was fortunate to get an admit in Otto von Guericke University, Magdeburg. And from there, during my master's, I was offered an internship at Volkswagen, which was the foundation for my IT security career in my life. So from there, my IT security career has begun, and I was also offered my master thesis at Volkswagen, which I worked with an exciting project called machine learning in IT security, which enlightened my mindset. Like you can also use different kinds of technology in cybersecurity. Yeah, later I joined a DCSO, a community-driven European cybersecurity company, and a joint venture of Volkswagen, BASF, Bayer, and Allianz. And now I'm at BASF.
Very fascinating. That's great. So, from this accidental invitation to this fest and on to your current position, that's very interesting how one thing leads to another. So, you mentioned machine learning in IT security, that was what you did during your master's. I think this sounds really exciting. I mean, machine learning in combination with IT security. So, what do you think in general are some of the current trends in the area of IT security? I mean, I can imagine maybe machine learning is one. Are there any specific trends that come to your mind?
Uh, yes, I mean, country specifically speaking about Germany, I mean, like a country with 800 billion exports for every year and the home for many manufacturing industries. I can see a broader spectrum within the Germany. I mean, there are many developments which are currently going on, and each and every manufacturing company, industry, or company in Germany are focusing on their own projects and process to involve and to automate most of the cybersecurity stuff within their environment. For example, I recently heard that Mercedes-Benz has the automation factory, which they automatically assemble the cards using the networks, and the person sitting along far from the factory can monitor every single aspect and every element of that car, which is possible because of the technologies involved in cybersecurity. Yes, as you said, machine learning is one of the factor, and there are other technologies which can be integrated. For example, rule-based things and AI and quantum computing. And quantum computing is also very much interesting in in the area of cybersecurity, which like most of the innovations has not been yet done. So I'm eagerly waiting. Like, what are the innovations that quantum computing gives for in the area of cybersecurity?
That's true. I can also imagine, for example, now that 5G is coming, do you think this also has some sort of implications for security or to your work specifically?
Yes, I mean like 5G networks with the broadband speed and computing capabilities. We might need the technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence in detecting most of the anomalies which travel like faster than light. So here in this area, when we explore, we usually talk about the networks layers, which play an important role. So in which layer the application is built on and which layer it's being communicated on.
Okay. So, do you think cybersecurity is important in Germany, or is it considered important in Germany in comparison to maybe other countries?
Yes, cybersecurity not only means like only the devices or the networks or communication when to and when not to. It the triangle of cybersecurity involves the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Where there is a need for confidentiality, integrity, and availability, there is a need for cybersecurity.
Okay. And in terms of when you think about cybersecurity in Germany, are there any organizations or companies that come to your mind in this area?
Yes, recently there are being some startups which are going on, and also my previous company, which is a European community-based cybersecurity-driven company called DCSO, Deutsche Cyber Sicherheit Organization, and Rode Schwarz is also one of the company. And one more interesting thing is the University of Bonn has established a cluster where the extensive research of the cybersecurity is being done. It's also called Cybersecurity Cluster Bonn GmbH, which also employs the experts in cybersecurity.
Okay, that sounds like a very interesting opportunity. And your previous company, so the Deutsche Cybersicherheit GmbH, what did they exactly do?
So DCSO is mainly focusing on the European market and the companies which are established in Europe in the area of cybersecurity. It is the individual company which is community driven, which means like sharing the threat information between different companies is not so possible. With the establishment of DCSO, the big DAX companies made this possible so that the threat information can be shared among the different companies so that they will get the broader picture. If one company get attacked, then the other might also know the information about that and be prepared to face that attack. DCSO, there are many areas in DCSO which primarily focus on security. For example, the tagline of the company is all called security engineering, which means I previously worked in the role called in networks areas. I mainly worked, and there are also different aspects like contextual threat intelligence, which provide the different views of intelligence around the world. For example, if an attack is being carried on, there are many aspects that can be drawn behind that. For example, there are attacks like country based, company based, product based. For example, there are two enemy countries which don't like each other. They might also plan the cyber attacks. So it would be very easier to know the context of the attacks. For this thing, we use a service called threat intelligence, and there is also instant response in case of if there are any cyber attacks. And the identity is being most important in these days, and for this we established a service they established a service called identity leakage monitoring. And there is also other services like technology scouting and evaluation of different security products and tools and consulting and assessments.
Sounds great. Sounds very hi-fi. I mean, the terms that you use, I can imagine them coming from like a sci-fi movie, I have to say.
Yeah, here I saw like people with different experience. The my few of my colleagues were firemen, few of my colleagues were political science background, and some were the retired police, and like it's a mixture of different combination of knowledge.
That's great. I would not have expected people of this background to be working in this area.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Would you advise people in general to go into this area in Germany? Do you think it's easy to find a job and pursue a career in this field?
Yes and no. For example, people with different background can go to cybersecurity, and they also need to choose where they exactly fits. For example, a doctor cannot go to an instant response and do an incident handling because he will be lack of like technical knowledge. But a doctor can analyze like what is the motive behind attack by developing some analytical skills. So this is how usually works. I mean, like it always depends upon what you are capable of and what exactly is possible in that role or the scenario. Uh, yes, it depends on actually, like for example, when I see the jobs of cybersecurity 2 years back and now, there are many opportunities growing day by day. Because this digitalization is moving towards automation, which involves networks. So there is a lot more scope for the area of cybersecurity within Germany, I feel.
Okay. So you yourself did masters in this area, in the area of IT security, and then you found a job in this area. For someone like who is also doing a masters in this field, you think there would be enough jobs or chances to, yeah, build a career?
Yes, if someone is doing IT security, they are now like hot cakes. They are sold before they complete their masters.
Oh, great. Okay. And other than doing a master's, are there other options to kind of get into this area?
Yes, I mean, like, if masters is not possible, there are some good certifications which will enhance our knowledge and thereby providing a really good job. And in security, certifications play a vital role. If you need to pass a certification test, then you need to have a proper background knowledge with lots of information. For example, certified ethical hacker, which you need to use most of the skills which we use in our daily life, and also like you need to think behind what the other person thinks. Certifications plays an important role, and also like attending hackathons, boot camps. These are some of the things which we can like really do if you want to pursue a career in cybersecurity.
Okay. And do you have an example of a certification or a boot camp or a course that comes to mind that you think might be useful?
Yeah, CEH. If you have a CEH certificate, it's more valued than like 5 years of experience. This is
All
one of
right.
the
Ah,
thing. Yeah,
so this is the certified ethical hacker certificate.
yeah, certified ethical hacker certificate.
Sounds great. Okay. And the certifications, I mean, that reminded me also that do you need to have a certain level of clearance to do some of the tasks that you do? I can imagine that you are dealing with a lot of sensitive information. So, does that also play a role in your job?
Yes, you. We also need some sort of clearance, which is like from the country wise, and also some roles really need a clearance from the country which you are living in, and also from the management which you are working on. Because like nobody can access the personal data of other person without their authorization. So like authorization is also plays an important role, and the level of access you have to the data, this is also a vital role. I mean, before giving access, they will usually think of the person and his background and they will give the access, not like directly giving the access.
Okay, so for someone who is coming from outside Europe or outside Germany, like, from India, it's still possible to get this level of clearance and to work in this area.
Yes, it's possible.
All right, that's great. That's great to know. And are there any sources that you would recommend in order to find jobs in this area?
There is no particular references, but here the networking plays an important role. When you attend a hackathon or when you attend a security conference, you will definitely know a lot more people there. I mean, like building up the context in those events will take our career to the next level. This is how I have been to DCSO.
All right, so through networking.
Yes.
All right. So you did not actually look for jobs on a specific platform, I don't know, on LinkedIn or something like that.
No, because when I was working at Volkswagen, we had a security conference where the colleagues from DCS were being there, and like they asked, like, "Are you interested in this software?" And they said, "Yeah, why not?" Yes,
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's very, yeah, also fortunate, I have to say. That kind of also shows how important networking is.
yes.
So you are working as a cloud security analyst. This is, I can imagine, a specific role within the broad area of IT security. Are there any other options or career paths that come to your mind, or any other roles that come to your mind, which other people can target when they are preparing to become a professional in the area of IT security?
Yeah, there are different roles like IT security analyst, security architect, network operator, system administrator. So, for example, if you want to know from the system side, like what exactly happening in the system when somebody attacks, then system administration plays a vital role there. And from the network perspective, there will be a network operator, network administrator, and network architect and many other roles which we can talk about in broader spectrum. But for the low level, it's always the analyst. Analyst is the primary focus, like it's the starting position where someone can improve their capability skills and find to the next level.
All right. And what can you progress into after this? So you start as an analyst, and then what would be the next step?
So if I'm an analyst, there are three different options available for me. For example, if I want to go to the networks, or if I want to go to the incident handling, or can I go to the system side? So three different career paths which leads to a different spectrum. In networking also, you can also do like ethical hacking, and in instant handling you can be a certified instant professional handler, certified instant handler. And from the system side you can be like OSCP guy, offensive security certified professional.
All right. That sounds like a lot of different possibilities.
Yes.
And the hiring process, is there a sort of a typical hiring process for positions in IT security?
So as far as I know, I mean, like it always differs from company to company and the role which you are looking for. For example, if you go to the higher, I mean, like for the DAX companies in Germany, there will be usually the assessment process where after completion of the technical round, in the technical round, it's always the scenario based. For example, hacker tries to exploit you via XYZ port. How could you stop that? Or like how would you handle the incident when somebody calls that my system is hacked? And this kind of questions you usually face in interview depending upon the role. Usually the security, I mean, like in people working in computer emergency response team usually have this scenario based interview processes, and some level of technical questions are to be expected on networks and system side. And after that, it's usually the assessment, which they assess all your mental ability and like presentation skills, which will be like from 7 to 9 hours a whole day is being occupied. After that, it's usually the HR round. When coming to like Mittelstand in Germany, it's usually the technical talk and the scenario based. After that, you will directly go to the HR.
All right. Okay. So the interview process also depends on the size of the company or how well known it is.
Yes.
Okay. And how did you prepare for these interviews? Are there any particular skills that one should focus on?
First, build up the basics. Basics are very important in cybersecurity. For example, if I am applying for the threat detection and hunting, I should be very perfect with the TCP and UDP port forward, TCP IP port information, network information, and communication, like what protocols the systems are communicating, that kind of stuff. If I am applying for the cloud analyst role, then I should know like what cloud products are available and what protocols they use, and what on which layer they are being communicated, what are the exploits that are possible. So a little bit background information research is mandatory before attending any interview, at least like studying some references, looking for the recent vulnerabilities, like what how that the product or the process can be exploited, something like that.
Okay. So basically, freshening up the basic concepts and the fundamentals, you think that should be enough to prepare?
Yeah, and also like we should always apply our basics when explaining the scenarios, because there is always a question, why this, why not that.
Okay. So you basically should also be able to use these concepts and argue for one approach over the other.
Yes.
All right. And are there any specific resources or websites that you would perhaps recommend or any other do's and don'ts that you would recommend to people who are looking for a job in this area?
Because I mean, like do's and don'ts, I'm not sure because like in cybersecurity, there are many aspects involved and everything has their particular things. So I cannot like overall generally say do's and don'ts, but I can particularly say that the conferences are very important in cybersecurity, like the security conference like CCC, which is held in Germany, and RSCA in Las Vegas. I mean, like I usually follow these conferences because there's too much of, I mean, like there is a too much of information that can be viewed for free, I feel. CCC videos are onlinely publicly available, which I saw and was got surprised like how my data can be used in social media platforms, which I never know before. So like you can also know some surprising facts there. And TED Talks plays also important role.
Great, yeah, that's true. SCCC is definitely so famous. I mean, not only in this, I guess, for security professionals, but also the public at large knows about this conference. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can imagine that's definitely a good source of information. Yeah, thank you very much, Prashant, for sharing your valuable advice and experience with us.
thank you, Paras. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to present like what I have gone through, and thank you very much for the opportunity once again.
You're most welcome. That's all, folks. Remember to subscribe to our podcast and check out our blog on india2germany.com. See you in the next episode.